especially right there. That's when the tornado was likely on the ground at 129. That was River Drive, Gray Street, Thomas Street, there's Sunset Avenue, there's 301, and this is where the tornado was on the ground, just south of 64, Battle Park Lane. It's at 129, and we go to 132, still on the ground. There's Battle Park Lane, Highway 64, Independence Drive, and at the same time, let's check over with the debris detector, and at that point, we're seeing debris elevated in the atmosphere, okay? So we go one more, and all that blue is the debris that was picked up by the tornado and elevated into the atmosphere, and that elevation is 1,387 feet. And that indicates the damage that occurred in Rocky Mount. I understand Brian Schrader has brand new video, perhaps what we saw over at Rocky Mount. Just on the radar, Brian, it's just very impressive, and we're seeing that translating out as that damage. That debris that the radar was detecting was coming from Wesleyan Boulevard and Rocky Mount. This is new video just in from WRAL's Heidi Kirk. This is Hing Ta Restaurant. This is on Wesleyan Boulevard, and you can see the immense damage there. You can see where the building itself is damaged, a lot of cars here in the parking lot. There's a car where the back window is busted out there. There's also apparently an auto maintenance shop next door, and there's a lot of damage there with cars that have been flung around that parking lot. Here's another look. There is the inside of that car shop there, and you can see where some of the vehicles that they were working on are still there, but the wall is missing. All of that damage out in the parking lot. A lot of the bricks there and the cinder blocks blown apart. Look at the damage to that truck there on the left side of your screen. No reports about any injuries specifically at this location, but as we've been telling you, Nash County Emergency Management has told us that they have confirmed at least 4 people have been injured in connection with this tornado.
And let's hope that that number does not grow. Brian, that is just startling footage there from the live center. Our reporter Heidi Kirk sending that video back. Of course, we are going to get some live reports from these scenes in Rocky Mount. As soon as we can get them up, we're going to bring them to you live. I'm Dan Haggerty, doing a bit of a refresher of what's been a very scary morning into an early afternoon for a lot of people in our area, and continues to be so. We'll let our meteorologists regroup for just a moment as we recap what has been a difficult day. So aside from the folks who we know at this point were injured in Rocky Mount with what was a tornado touching the ground there and doing devastating damage, and that is just in one spot. We know that there are a few locations that also have damage in that spot. But this is a system that came through our state and at this point has claimed 2 lives. We know that a child, a 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, 3 lives, I'm hearing. 3 people have been killed in this tornado. We know information in this storm as it's moved through. We know a 4-year-old girl is one of the 3 deaths connected to this storm, killed when the car that she was in crashed on a flooded road. We know that another person was killed in the Charlotte area when a tree fell onto a vehicle there, or onto a home as well. There are 290 roads closed throughout the state because of high water and debris. Emergency crews have done over 100 swift water rescues. You have seen the video and the images coming from the mountains of entire areas flooded out completely. More than a dozen states have sent more rescue teams to North Carolina to help our crews. But as we know, the massive size of this storm, of course, our state is not the only one dealing with this type of damage. We have some of our crew members, our swift water rescue people who are in other states helping. In fact, if I remember correctly, I believe some of those folks who are in other states helping are from Rocky Mount. I'm from the Cary area. I was watching WRAL News and the great work that Mike and Kat and Chris and Amy have done all day as the tornado warnings were moving through what is a very populated area. And they were scary and tense moments. And I know that people have damage in front of their homes. Their cars have been damaged. Their houses have been damaged. And we're going to continue to update you as we move through this together. So let's get back over to meteorologist Mike Mays, who continues to track this system as it continues, Mike, to show moments where it could become dangerous again.
Yeah, we still have that tornado warning in effect for parts of Halifax County. That's until 2:30. This is the latest velocity scan, and what we're seeing, all these greens are the raindrops moving toward the radar set, which is in Clayton. We're not seeing bright reds next to that, which would indicate really tight rotation. So this is very broad in nature. So in 7 minutes, this expires. It probably will be allowed to. Now, up into Northampton County, the winds aren't looking all that strong, so I wouldn't think that we would see a severe thunderstorm warning issued for Jackson and Conway getting over toward Rich Square, but we'll watch that and be vigilant nonetheless. But still some strong winds around the Halifax community, at least aloft. But again, not a huge indication that there is a tornado on the ground, and the shear is very weak. We're not seeing the strong shear that we saw over Rocky Mountain. That's certainly good news. Again, this does expire shortly, and we will continue to watch it. There's a new severe thunderstorm warning that just was issued for Northampton County till 3 o'clock. Let me jump over toward the Wakefield area, and they just issued that, and that is until 3 o'clock. The storm is moving to the northeast. Instead of issuing a tornado warning, they've issued a severe thunderstorm warning, and that is for Bertie County, Northampton County, Hertford County, Emporia, Southampton County, and Virginia. This is moving to the northeast at 35 miles per hour. Potential wind gusts. And they have a tornado possible tag. So they're going to keep an eye on the possibility that the rotation could spin back up. But right now, it is a severe thunderstorm warning for Northampton County till about 3 o'clock. So again, the rotation detector over Halifax right now not showing strong rotation, but we will continue to watch this nonetheless. We switch back over to velocity or radar reflectivity, and we can see the heavy rain that's over Roanoke Rapids along the I-95 corridor up there in Northampton County, heading into Woodland, Rich Square getting heavy rainfall right now, and also parts of Halifax County. Zoom in Tillery, Pea Hill, Ruggles community, Crowell's Crossroads, all seeing some very heavy rain. This is, again, all shifting toward the northeast, and this is the last bit of heavy rain that's in our viewing area. Edgecombe County, just a far sliver, the eastern part of the county, still seeing some heavy rain. Let's zoom in there and say hello to you folks. There's Tarboro, looking pretty good, but Fountain Fork, hello to my friends in the Coakley community that watch all the time. We're giving you a shout out. Mayo's Crossroads, seeing the heavy rainfall. We'll put the lightning strikes back on, and there's a little bit of lightning showing up just over the K in Fountain Fork, but there's not a lot of cloud to ground lightning showing up, and this will be exiting your area soon. In fact, Hobgood seeing some rain. I'll time lapse this as a 30-minute time lapse, and you can see the rain is progressing pretty good. And once that rain moves out of your community, the severe threat will have subsided. Even though the tornado watch goes till about 6 o'clock, this tornado watch does extend all the way up into southeastern Virginia. So that'll likely carry on closer to 6 o'clock for that vicinity, but will come to an end shortly once this line moves through our eastern counties, Halifax County and Northampton County. So the severe threat is pretty much concluded for much of the viewing area. We're just holding out for Halifax County and Northampton County. And once this moves out, it will be the all clear, and then we can go ahead and talk more of the cleanup. There is flooding going on across many communities out there. There are likely trees down in many communities, and of course, our hearts go out to the folks in the Rocky Mountain area that have sustained damage and injuries from the tornado that moved through. It was on the ground briefly, and it had devastating effects. It doesn't take long for a tornado to create a whole lot of damage and calamity. It can be on the ground for a split second and then move back up and then move on and not continue to develop. And so that's what we're seeing right now. What is left of that potential rotation is over Halifax. Now, Kat standing by, there are so many flooding issues across our part of the viewing area and across the state right now. It's going to take a while for that water to recede, and then the river levels will start to go up.
I mean, as soon as the rain started today, 440 was already flooding when I was on the roads earlier. So, you know, that's the issue with how much rain we've seen. With one of the wettest years on record in the area, it takes barely any rain. Just a quick shower blowing through can lead to flooding. And we saw some really intense rain. So even though the rain has ended for now, there is still a flash flood warning, including all of the triangle until shortly after 3 o'clock. So we're not done with that yet. I did want to mention we've got these couple of little cells back behind the main band. And for the most part, those are certainly not as dangerous as what we saw move through with the main band. However, there is a tornado warning, a teeny teeny tiny one up in Danville, Virginia, which is interesting. We'll keep watching that area. That area wasn't hit hard like we were earlier, so I'm not as concerned about us. We were dropped from the tornado warning around the triangle, which is good news for us. I did want to get a quick update on some of the storm reports. These are just coming in. You know, the National Weather Service has been so busy issuing tornado warning after flash flood warning all day, so they haven't had as much time to get all these reports in. So I think that this map is really going to fill up with more damage reports soon, but we did have some trees down, unfortunately, and the rainfall totals pretty robust. Down here, you know, we have a total estimate from the radar around 4 inches, another one going into Sampson County there. So this has been some really heavy rain on top of the tornado threat that we've seen today. And we had a lot of areas measure about 2 inches of rain. As we move forward in time, 3 o'clock, we still have a couple storms up in Halifax County. Otherwise, it's just some spotty stuff moving through the triangle. I wouldn't expect this to be as intense as what we saw earlier. It's just going to be patchy for the remainder of the evening. So if you have Friday night plans, it's not quite as dangerous. One quick update before we get over to Dan Haggerty. The tornado that moved through Rocky Mount had a pretty robust debris ball on it that we were tracking on the radar. That's how we were able to confirm it right around 1:30. And some of the locations that were hit or at least impacted in some way, some of the businesses in Rocky Mount by this tornado, you got to think this is North Wesleyan Boulevard, the same area that got hit just a short time ago with the July tornado last year, the EF3. Books A Million, El Tapatio Mexican Restaurant, Hing Ta Furniture Fair, and New Beginnings Christian Center. So those are some of the areas, businesses that had at least some impact. We've got our reporters heading to the scene to bring us live reports, Dan.
We saw semi-trucks in that area on their side. This is a busy area. A lot of people go there. We just have to imagine and hope that they weren't busy today when this tornado moved through, but we know the damage has been severe. Brian Schrader in the live center now. Brian, I guess we're getting some images from inside that restaurant plaza that looks very badly hit.
Just received this from one of our viewers. This is from inside El Tapatio, which is on Wesleyan, right around Tiffany Boulevard. Take a look at that damage from inside the restaurant. You can see where the tables and chairs are blown all over the place. Parts of the ceiling tiles have collapsed, and you can also see where all of that rain blew in through those busted windows and through that ceiling there. If you have any damage pictures that you can send to us, and if it's safe to do so, get those pictures. You can send them to me on Facebook, send it to us here through WRAL.com or the WRAL News app. We would like to see whatever you are seeing in your area, if it's safe. I want to talk about some of the other damage that we are seeing elsewhere around the viewing area. We've got a tree down in Wake County on the southern part of Raleigh at Tryon Road at Penny Road. We're sending the WRAL Storm Tracker out to that location right now. Earlier today, probably around we do have that picture now from Tryon Road at Penny Road, that tree that is down there on the south side of Raleigh. And you can see where they are working to get that mess cleared up there. Of course, Tryon Road, very busy road. Penny Road, also a busy road just south of the NC State Farm there between Fuquay-Varina and Raleigh. It looks like that likely is going to be closed through at least the early part of the evening commute there. It's a situation we'll continue to watch. As I was saying earlier today, one of the tornado warnings that we were covering was in southern Sampson County. We are getting a picture now from Amber Norris. This is in the Garland area, and you can see the damage that they're dealing with there in Garland. Another person not too far from there near Roseboro in southern Sampson County, Taylor Carey, took this picture of what appears to be a pretty suspicious cloud. All of this taken while that area was under a tornado warning. And our own Grace Haba sent in this picture from Wilson. They are dealing with a lot of flooding right now in Wilson County. This is Ward Boulevard at Westwood Avenue, and you can see that as of just a little while ago, that intersection was closed because of high water.
Brian, thank you. Again, just startling images there, especially from the tornado damage we saw in Rocky Mount. We can exhale a bit for a moment because the severity of the weather has moved on. That said, this is the time where the cleanup starts and the helping starts. We've seen this community come together and do it so many times, and we are going to tell you those stories now and all the way through the weekend. We're going to do a quick break, but when we come back, we have reporters live in Rocky Mount as we take a live look there. We have reports from Asheville, the mountains so hardly hit during this weather system. We have reporters in Durham, Raleigh, and throughout the Triangle. We will start showing you where the help is needed most right after this.
What do you do when your tire goes flat and there's no air anywhere? You reach for Bullseye Pro, the smarter, faster, hands-free way to fill it up with air. Bullseye Pro is equipped with a rechargeable lithium-ion power plant. So fast and so convenient. It's like the power of an air compressor in the palm of your hand. Look, you can inflate all 4 tires on a single charge. It has a built-in smart pressure digital sensor that gauges and automatically stops when the set tire pressure is reached. Easily inflate pool toys, exercise balls, and more. Call or go online now and get the complete Bullseye Pro inflation system for the factory direct price of just $79.99. Plus, we'll ship your entire order free, and we'll give you a 50% discount on a second one. Order now.
To order, call 1-800-714-0410. That's 1-800-714-0410, or go to getbullseyepro.com.
Morning. Tornado warning until 3 o'clock for northeastern Northampton County. The storm's moving to the northeast at about 20 miles per hour, so it is a slow mover. Let's zoom in. You see the red polygon within the yellow polygon. The yellow polygon indicates the severe thunderstorm warning. This is the tornado warned area, so let's zoom in. It looks like Jackson is in the vicinity. We'll zoom in and go to street level between Lasseter's Crossroads, Creeksville, Edwards Crossroads. They're Fasons, Galatia, all inside the tornado warned area. And right now, would suspect that the greatest rotation would be Boone's Crossroads and also the Jackson community. So we are seeing, pretty much, look at that, pretty decent couplet showing up that has just formed. We go back in time when we were still on the air with that other tornado warning and no really signs of anything, and then boom, we see that rotation. That green area here, the raindrops moving toward the radar site, and then you have the red moving away. So this is a couplet that has just formed, quick developing couplet. Let me change over to the other radar view in Wakefield, Virginia to see if we can see this any clearer. So give me a moment and see if I can see anything while I switch over to the radar, and nothing is showing up. So let's just stick with the Raleigh radar and go back to the velocities, and that is where we're seeing the rotation. So let me take a look at the shear rate, and the shear rate is not showing strong shear. But it is showing some weak shear, and the rotation on the velocities indicate that there is something brewing here. You can definitely see it for yourself. Again, this vicinity here, just to the south and east of the Jackson community, is where the rotation is showing up. And there's a new image that just came in. We'll zoom on in, go to street level. So it's Dusty Hill Road, it's Duke Service Road between the Rehoboth community and Creeksville that has the greatest rotation right now. Let me broaden this out and we'll do a storm track to see what communities are impacted. It's moving northeast at 20. And let me set this up northeast at 20 miles per hour. And let me put some cities on, give me 1 second. And the Fasons community at 2:52, Galatia at 3 o'clock, Hugo community at 3:12, and Branchville at 3:22. So if you are in this area between Fasons, Galatia, Jackson, you need to be in your safe spot right now. Get to the lowest level of your home, inside a bathroom, closet, maybe a pantry. That's an inside room, away from any windows that would afford you the best protection. The bathroom would probably be the best because the smaller the room, the more structurally sound it is in event of a tornado that hits. And we have no indication that this is a tornado on the ground, but we have to treat it as such since this cell or this part of the storm has had a history of producing that tornado over toward Rocky Mount. So let me change over to the debris detector to see if anything is showing up here, and don't see anything. So we've run through all our products to see what is happening, and the telltale sign of something brewing is, of course, here on the radar velocities. And we get a little bit closer view again. Between Rehoboth, Boone's Crossroads, Jackson, Creeksville, Edwards Crossroads, that's the area that is under the gun right now, so to speak. So that's the area that is threatened right now with this tornado warning and potential tornado as it moves to the northeast at about 20 miles per hour. So it is a very slow moving storm compared to the one we saw at Rocky Mount that was moving to the northeast at 35, and prior to that it was up to about 45 miles per hour. So it was much faster than what we're seeing right here. But there is a couplet showing up, and we got to be aware that this could tighten up and produce a tornado and touch the ground. And I'm going through my products to see if there's any other telltale signs except for the velocities. And again, we are seeing that couplet showing up. So let's do a reset. We'll go to the broad view, and this is what's left of the system here in the Triangle and Sand Hills. The tornado threat has come to an end. The severe threat has come to an end, I should say, at least on a widespread basis. We'll time lapse this over the past 30 minutes, and you can see the Randolph County showers, northwestern Moore County showers near Robbins. All this is lifting up toward the north. And also here in the Triangle and Fayetteville, it is dry now, but some of this activity to the west could swing through over the next couple of hours. So if you're coming home from work or if you're heading out to an early dinner, say 4 or 5 o'clock, some of these showers may be in the vicinity. And of course, we have wide open bluegrass that is taking place this evening. Most of the weather conditions early on should be dry. Mule days will carry on in Johnston County and Benson. I think your weather will be okay as well. And if there are any high school football games that have not been played, because some were last night, maybe some will be this evening, they should be basically mainly dry. But the eastern counties still seeing that very heavy rainfall. Now, Elizabeth City, getting over to Kill Devil Hills and our Outer Banks communities, they still have the threat for tornadoes. Virginia Beach as well, where the tornado watch goes till about 6 o'clock this evening. So even though it's coming to an end in our area, there are some parts of the eastern viewing area, or far eastern viewing area, not our viewing area, but the eastern part of the state will have that threat for severe weather for several more hours, at least through 6 o'clock. Now, Kat Campbell's waving, saying,
broadened out quite a bit. We just got a brand new scan in.
Let's head over to Kat.
And it's not looking as bad as it was just a short time ago. Mike, while you're at it over there, see if you can get the Wakefield radar in. It may be offline. I think maybe power or something hit it, but we can't get the Wakefield radar in. Luckily, we have plenty.
44.
Same here. So yeah, I wonder if they maybe had some kind of power flash over there.
That's not good.
So let's go forward in time. This is 2:30, so this was about 10 minutes ago, just under 10 minutes ago, and you had reds and greens really close together. This is what prompted this particular scan, the tornado warning, to be issued in Northampton County. And you can see there's that red box. The tornado warning was issued as it moved by Jackson, but the latest scan, you had those tight red and green, bright colors. That was pretty good rotation, and then it just kind of falls apart a little bit as it moves to the north. You're not in the clear yet. This is not, this is just one radar scan. You can't come out of your safe place if you do live in Northampton County just based off of one radar scan, especially with tropical tornadoes, the way that these behave. However, I just wanted to bring you a little bit of good news. We like to see any scan that shows broad rotation, and it's not as menacing looking in the Jackson community with this latest scan on the radar. But it does have a history of producing some pretty tight rotation, so this is definitely one that we have to continue to watch. There is a new flash flood warning that was just issued for Northampton County, so a heads up, in addition to the rotation, we're watching some really heavy rain in this area. Let's go ahead and go street level just to know where we're going to see the rotation crossover next. We've got Fire Tower Road, Mount Carmel Road, Taylor's Mill Road, Edwards Crossroads. You're going to be kind of on the east side of the circulation to some of the areas that are likely to be impacted there. But we have had some really impressive rainfall rates. So the tornado warnings have been a concern today, but the flash flood warnings sometimes can produce some pretty widespread issues across areas. So don't downplay the flash flood warning. That is important there in Northampton County as well. And I want to go ahead and put that on the map. Just a reminder, about 20 minutes left to go in this tornado warning in Northampton County. I'm going to go ahead and add the flash flood warning to the map. I've had to take the flash flood warnings off the map today at times just because we've had so many alerts. We've got the wind advisory, we've had the flash flood warnings, then the tornado warnings and watches. So I'm trying to clear them off the map so it doesn't get too cluttered. Here's the flash flood warning. It looks like it's for almost the entire county. It is east of Lake Gaston. It does include parts of Roanoke Rapids there, and this will go until 5:45. So you've got 3